Welcome to another episode of CIOtv. I'm your host, Mike Stockwell, and today we're joined by Taylor Desseyn with Vaco coming to us from Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, Taylor, welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? Happy to be here. Thanks again for the invite.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're super excited about having you on today's show. Taylor, can you tell us a little bit about your role in the organization and then a little bit
Yeah,
about the organization?
yeah, absolutely. So Vaco, we're a billion-dollar staffing and consulting company. We're global. We have offices from here in the States, across the world, India, England, and I focus all of my time on basically building community across the country in the tech community. So my role's really shifted over the last few years, but I'm very, very happy. So I was attached to the Nashville office, and I was recruiting Nashville talent and working with CIOs and CTOs and helping them staffing up their organizations. And actually, in January of this year, I moved to our global division, which is focused on really building community across the country in both accounting, finance, and tech. So I head up our tech practice of about 14, 15 individuals. And my main focus is for every single person in technology to know who we are.
That's awesome. Just curiosity from my perspective as we're post-pandemic now, right? What are the expectations for the workforce out there today around, we've been out of office for so long now. Is that
Yeah.
something you see continuing?
Yeah, I mean, so that's an interesting question. In regards to kind of the trends and what we're seeing, well, it's tough out there. Like, to be totally honest with you, it's very difficult. I was actually just messaging with the VP of engineering just now, right before this conversation, and I just saw him straight. I said, hey man, it's just hard right now. Senior leadership roles have been cut. I literally so as I was hopping on this link to be with you, I emailed somebody about there's no leadership positions, and literally I had somebody message me from a tech company that just got laid off today that was in leadership. So leadership's getting cut like crazy. I'm definitely starting to see people starting to go back into the office. I mean, listen, I do think there is a lot of remote jobs, and I think the companies that can keep it remote and that can allow a flexible work schedule or a flexible travel schedule, I think are still going to come out on top. But listen, I'm just going to call it what it is. Hiring managers, CIO, CTOs, organizations, they have the upper hand again. We went from a very, very candidate driven market where the candidate had the upper hand and they can demand the salaries and they can get the salaries and they can demand all the things they wanted to. But now, unfortunately or fortunately, the employers have most of the leverage. And so that's a super high level. That's definitely the trends I'm seeing right now.
That's a great perspective, and I tell you, hearing that from you and your passion and having your finger on the pulse, that is, that's awesome. One to hear that the tables are kind of turning a little bit. You go
Yeah.
through these buyer and seller markets through, not only housing but through the employee ranks as well. So,
Oh, yeah.
one question I like to ask all my guests is, how did you get your start in IT?
Yeah. So, I mean, getting my start in IT is interesting. I wish I had this kind of, this story, this grandiose story of, like we see on LinkedIn these days, these LinkedIn influencers that are posting these crazy stories. But for me, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. So I moved up to Nashville to do music like everyone else. I was a drummer, and I was broke, and I had a crush on this girl. She didn't like me back. She liked my lead singer, which was a story of my life, to be totally honest with you. And but I said, hey, I need a job. Do you know anybody? And she goes, well, yeah, my nanny, the person who employs me as a nanny, they need a recruiter. And I said, I don't know what a recruiter is, but that sounds great. And I interviewed, and I got the job a few days later. And I've been at Vaco for 12 years now, and I was recruiting tech. I've been recruiting tech, I would say, heavily for the last 8 or 9 years out of the 12 years. I'd say 10 years. The first 2 years was a mix of accounting, finance, and administrative and ops marketing. And so I actually took on a tech project I had to recruit 15 Java developers. Didn't know what Java was. I thought it was coffee. I recruited 15 Java developers out of Colorado, and I rolled up my sleeves, and I was like, man, I love talking to nerds, especially developers. They do the really, really cool stuff, and really the rest is history. I kind of dove even more so into getting to know the tech industry. And then, over the years, I've been more and more passionate about really giving back to the tech ecosystem on how to find a job, how to navigate the job search, as well as helping IT leaders scale their organizations faster.
Well, it sounds like it all worked out for you in the end.
Yeah.
Living in the Music City is an awesome place. One of my favorite places to visit. Love the state of Tennessee.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
awesome.
that's all the time that we have today. But thank you so much for joining us. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed the conversation, and I look forward to speaking to you one day soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next time on CIO TV.